This is just AMZN for Thursday, October 11th, 2019. Looking at the daily here, zoomed in a little bit because we're making some smaller candles, high wave candles. Today actually put in a slightly, ever so slightly lower low and a bit of an upper high, higher high. And at one point today, it looked really bullish, which surprised me because last we talked about this, I was expecting it to open up down here with the potential that it could run up into the closing price from yesterday and then roll over. We jump into the 5-minute. I talked about, let me see if I can sketch it real quick. Talked about really the apex of this, thinking that, okay, we'll probably come into this. Oops. Click the wrong button. Let's see. There we go. Sharing again. Sharing should be working. Everything. Okay. I click stop share instead of clicking annotate. So I thought because we're down here, we would run up, come back into this zone, and then from here roll over, or not even get that high and roll over from here. Well, instead, we put in a pre-market. Sorry, let me clear that. Instead, we put in a nice pre-market support around there, and we're almost up at the highs. I just can't draw straight. And then look at these candles. Okay, these candles. Let me get out of here. Let me get rid of this. Well, I'll leave that on here because I mean that's where we came back into. So that's the apex of this triangle. That's the closing price. It's right below the support we had yesterday. That's pretty much where we bounced early in the morning. Also off of pre-market support. Also off of the 21. And look how we did it. So if you step back here, and let me see if there's a way to change this up real quick. Chart. I just want to turn off candles real quick. I don't think it's going to let me. Oh, I have an idea. Let me try this. Let me just put AMZN over here. No, it's still got the lines. Okay. Well, it's not showing what I want to show, but a little less going on. All right, so we just got the lines. Ignore the lines, the red lines right now. We had a high wave candle open, broke out, ever so slightly, trapped some people, ran right into this resistance, pulled back, and actually I don't know which way it went next. If it pulled back and then went up, and I don't know. But this is a really big hammer type candle here. All right. The next candle, smaller candle, not quite a hammer. The wick's not quite long enough, but inside candle. It's like, oh, okay. The very next candle, another hammer. This one's got the lower wick about double the size of the body. A small upper wick as well. But again, pretty much inside, well, definitely inside of this larger candle. And I think a slightly lower high and slightly lower low. Let's see the high and the low. Yeah, so slightly lower high, lower low. This is a great place. So looking back at the location here, this is a great place that we were retesting that zone, basically 1720 to 1722. That zone where we broke out from, like from this candle or this candle. I thought we were going to retest that from below. We actually retested from above and then bounced. The next candle, press the wrong buttons. The next candle completely broke out. Got above yesterday's high. So the very next candle. So this is where, I mean, this is the challenge of this. We were looking at this zone expecting it to go bearish. I would have been setting up a bearish trade, going bearish below here and a stop up here. Instead, it goes bullish. And obviously, this is not what I expected. What I was talking about being down here, opening up down here, I was wrong, and that's not what played out. But seeing this bounce like this, it's like, man, I really should have just been looking at these candles and not paying attention to the lines, and I wasn't doing it. So I missed this. And here, we'll switch this back to the option. I had the 1725 call on here. Let's go back to the day here. I'm going to leave that on for a little bit longer. Okay, next candle breaks out. Right there, that one. And then we continue up. Continue up. and we're just chopping around up here. It can chop around up here all at once because, I mean, it's broken out on the daily. You know, it's made a higher low and a higher high, and it can do whatever it wants to do up here. It's got a nice inverted hammer. This move here reminds me very much of right here yesterday. So, you know, the inverted hammer at 1050. Today we got the inverted hammer at 920, so an hour and a half early. And I'm kind of anticipating some sort of choppiness similar to this, and then maybe something that's going to throw a wick or look like it's going to move up a little bit, you know. But from up here, you know, what we did yesterday, we were right up into resistance. Well, today we don't really have a resistance up here. We just have the candles themselves, however they're playing out. But watch this. This is crazy. We've got 5 bearish candles in a row. We didn't even get that many here. We had 4 here, and then it started to just grind sideways. Well, we're still way up. We've got higher lows. We got relative highs. You know, it's very similar to yesterday. I mean, we were pulling back a little bit more. Well, no, we pulled back probably dollar amount, about the same. But we really formed a nice kind of high base or distribution up here that then started to just grind sideways. And today, it's even harder to say this is a base. There's not like you can't really frame it out. Like this, I can say, okay, that's range bound. This one, it's kind of range bound like this, or this candle right here. It's kind of range bound much wider, you know, a few more dollars, which is fine. But it also looks like a double top. It's coming into the 21. We'll see what it does there. Get a squeeze forming. Let's step into it some more. Oh, okay, we're going down some more. Okay, sideways. It's probably going to bounce here. And squeeze is forming, squeeze is firing, and it's firing bearish. There's been 9 or 10 bearish candles in a row. It's like, it shouldn't keep going down. It should, you know, yesterday we had a bunch of bullish candles in a row, then we had a bunch of bearish, went sideways and reverse. We should have a bunch of bearish candles in a row, and then we should reverse. That's what should happen, right? So we've actually taken out this low. So this is actually a neckline here. We're breaking the neckline. What happens next? Bigger volume, bigger move. And it's like, what is it doing down here? It shouldn't be down here. It's not even bouncing off this line now. This thing is going bearish. It's coming, you know, and this is where people are thinking, oh man, I missed this move. I need to get into this. It's going to go. It's just going to go. Well, where's it coming down to? Comes right back down into this zone. Actually pushes through it. This candle, it's got a low of 17.19, and the open second 5-minute candle had a low of 17.18.98. Really, really close. Like, picture this candle right here on a daily. It's got a huge upper wick. It's got next to nothing for, well, no, I guess the body's here. So it looks like a really, really good invert hammer. You know, where we thought we were going to be bearish, you know, rolling over, it had to run up quite a bit. So this was all trapping people. This was trapping all the bears. It got above yesterday's level. It looked like it was rolling over after hours, and then it recovers and stops them out. You know, this is probably not just bulls. This is probably bears closing out the position, thinking, okay, I'm going to get margin call something. I've got too much at risk. You know, if they had a stop up here, it just got stopped out. You know, then it rolls over. This is phenomenal. I think it was 17 bearish candles in a row on the 5-minute. I don't remember the last time I saw that. So this looks like, I mean, obviously it's a lot of selling, but it looks like a lot of continuous selling, a lot of volume selling. And this doesn't seem like it's just regular retail traders. It seems like something bigger going on, pushing it lower, you know, shorting it. And it still kind of suggests there's probably more downside here. At least that's where my bias is right now, that we've got some more downside. So we're right in the zone again, and we recover a little bit. We start to move up a little bit. Oh, so it's like, okay, good, finally. We're starting to bounce. Oh, no, wait. And it goes sideways, and it starts to form this triangle here. Oops. Sorry, I went one too far. I thought it was going to form kind of a base here, like this. You know, it was going to go sideways. Well, then it didn't get up as high. And then the next one didn't get up as high. And it's like, after this big move, it's like, is it going to go right now? This is great. This is, you know, this is kind of things trending. This is what we expect. it's starting to trade like normal again. And what happens next? Yes, it breaks down from a triangle. Really nice, clean triangle. The only issue is that, not the only issue, but it's made 17 bearish candles in a row. If you're getting in here, you're chasing. Like, don't get in it. Don't be selling down here on a breakdown on the day. At least wait for a retracement and a rollover. And it started to bounce immediately. And not only does it come back and retest this level, we're right back in this zone again that I was drawing yesterday. It's like, okay, here's our retest from below. But the problem is we've already run up and run down, and now we're just basically sideways right near the open price in the zone again. And all day long, we're just kind of in this, not all day long. There was some random spike. And again, I think this is trapping bulls now who are buying down here and telling bears, okay, you're good. It's going after this retracement. And now they're all trapped because it starts to recover. So it's kind of like trapping people here, now waiting for the close on swing trades. And then from here, we're right back. I guess we're a little below the range. There we go. Get back into the range. And it was actually, what was it? I did not get very much time to really stalk this thing today and figure out, okay, where could I be getting? I missed all of this. After I missed these candles bullish, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit this out for a little bit. If it moved bullish, great. I'll look for it to retest. And then I don't think I looked at it for a while, and I saw it was forming this triangle. And I'm like, well, I can't trade that either direction because it's already had a huge move. And then I saw this after this came in, and it was at 105. So not 150, not 145, different time today than earlier in the week. But I was looking at it as it was going sideways through here. It's like, man, this has so much bearishness to it. I wonder if it's just going to roll over here. And it formed this candle, and I was getting ready to set up a trade. And I think it was 3 bullish candles after this. It's like, this feels like it's going to roll over. It has a similar feeling with the bigger candle, high wave candle. It feels very similar to what I traded bearish the other day, looking like this. It touched the 21 and then dropped. But it's like, again, this has had 17 bearish candles in a row. It's a huge bearish move. This is not the time to go bearish. I missed it. I missed the trade. That was the greatest time to go bearish up here, or going bearish down here at kind of the neckline where some people were buying, some were selling, or even waiting till you had a signal that, okay, it's going bearish, it's going bearish, it's going bearish. You still had a while here, and it had a long way down to, just continue. So I missed the trade. Right here I'm thinking, no, I can't do this. I can't get into this. I've missed the trade. It's got a squeeze, and then it popped. Popped again, back into the same range, and just jogged around in there. And so I don't necessarily want to speculate on where it could go tomorrow, because it looks like it's rallying. It looks like it's going to go up. And it's like, that's not at all what I thought the market was going to do. I missed the good candles to trade here, the hammer here, the inverted hammer here. I missed all this. I don't know if I had been watching this and gotten in bearish up here, if it would have played out, or if it would have stopped me out here. I didn't look at the options to see what it was doing. But the framework of these lines, it's like, man, we broke out. What are we going to do from here? And it's just more indecision, trapping indecision. Like anybody who was bullish yesterday, adding to it today, and then it closes way down, or bears getting squeezed out, up here, then it drops way lower and is actually lower on the day. So just still a challenging time to trade. The other thing I noticed looking at the daily, let me see if I can explain this, because I just noticed, can I draw a box? Draw a box. Cool. Okay. Got the tool to draw the box. What I notice, and bear with me a little bit here. So in this range, I'm going to draw it to right here because it kind of is similar. In this range, we had 3 candles that were kind of up, and then a bearish retest gap down, and we had 2 that were in a row here, then a bullish retest gap up, and we had 2 here, and then we had a gap down, and that went sideways for a little bit, the 4th day going sideways before it rolled over big. And I'm just noticing that we've kind of got this range in the middle where we were gapping past, aside from the opening one. And I noticed there's something similar here, where we have somewhat of a range in the middle, and it's much tighter. But right on our line here, we've got 3 candles up, and yes, I know there's other ones here that have been up. We have a bearish retest down. Okay, that matches up here. We got a candle right next to it. I'm not as concerned about it trading so far down, recovering. I'm just saying it's like, okay, we have a nice little bullish candle next to it. Bullish retest gap. Bullish retest gap. This was bigger, much larger range. High wave candle next to it. This one was bearish. This one's bullish, but still high wave nonetheless. And then we have a gap down, and it continues. This was a bearish retest gap, and it continues to run down into kind of the lows in here, into the 21, and past this line. And that's what we did here. We just didn't have the lower wick like this candle did. Okay, and then we have back here, we had much more recovery, high wave candle, or another indecisive candle here, and we've gotten just kind of 2 indecisive candles here. So the main, the candles are similar, at least kind of certain ones leading or following others, but having a range in the middle that we're kind of bouncing around. And so if we stay true to this idea, we have the possibility of, so let me click it. There we go. The next day, if we have something go sideways a little bit more, is it not cooperating? There we go. Go sideways a little bit more, doing their high wave candle, and then maybe, so if this represents what's going to happen on Friday, then look for Monday to have a bigger move. If these frameworks kind of stick it out, if they work. So anyway, just something I noticed. Let's go back into the 5-minute. Buying off these hammers was not the easiest thing to do. Looking at calls, this is a 1725 call. It was pretty expensive. It's 11 by 10 right here, and that doesn't even really contain the price. This looked like a really nice hammer. If you bought this, getting in like at our stop limit at 12, your stop's gonna be down here at 10, and then you're adjusting on this candle because it took out the low. If you go a little further away, if you look at the 1750 call, it doesn't move great. It's got a really nice small candle here, so like 250. You probably could have had trades set up like 250 by 2, or even 250 by 150, and that ran up. So it was possible to get into this one and put a nice base. The first 3 candles, then gap down, and then recovered. I just don't know if the price of 250 would have filled on the Marex candle, or if you would have had to send the order in on this candle before it completed the pattern here. But that ran up nicely. And then you can see it was just down the rest of the day pretty much here after that, that inverted hammer. The other one I liked, I went through like kind of every 5 and was looking at the options. I kind of like this one just because the range is all right. So like 5 by 4 would have been a nice setup. Not as expensive the option, but it doubled. It goes from 5 all the way up to 10, and getting out of here at 10. After this inverted hammer candle was fine. It came back up into that range. Getting out here, and then so those are some ways you probably could have done and may have done a bullish move. And then up here, kind of the double top, that was your first place to get in bearish, and then at the neckline. So let's take a look at the 1700 puts, and these were a bit further away, but they put in this really low number here. And so this is something that as it's forming, it threw that wick, and then it just went sideways, and it didn't even show any lower values in the put because it was just kind of holding its value here. And so this is good just to see that, okay, we had a big move, the market makers are expecting it's, the stock to rally from here, or no, they're holding the price kind of steady. Don't want to give them back gains. Don't want to let people, get in at a better price. It's holding right here. So maybe 225 by 125, or 225 by 175, something like that. Looks like it kind of worked. And then it ran. And you have some more bearishness on these candles than you do on the initial run up on the puts. But that's what you saw on the stock itself, that it was breaking down so many candles in a row. And then all this sideways. Oops, I meant to go back to this one. All this sideways, just chop. This was basically a V top sandwich with some sort of inverted head and shoulders sort of shape that just looks like some kind of consolidation of pricing after a big V top move like that. So taking a little step out, you got looks like there's a little bit of an increase here, not too much. Today was the biggest day to have kind of a bigger move. After hours, we're still making some lower highs here. So it feels like things are expanding a little bit, unless you go all the way back to this and draw a gentler line like this, and maybe a gentler line like this, and that's just a bigger triangle that's going to last, looks like tomorrow, and maybe even into the next day. But even out here, you can see this is a really indecisive day. It's got a really nice curve to it to show that. So yeah, looking at 1740, looking at the 1700 puts. The other thing you could have done here is, after this move, just have an order set out looking for any sort of pullback to a decent price and give it some room. So like having set up like 4x3, that being the entry price here, it got above it, it's all the way up here. I probably wouldn't have done this just because I don't like looking for the trade to repeat itself. So if I'm looking for a move from 4 all the way up to 550 because it did that, well, if you consider that it already did it and you missed it, just recognize any sort of move from down here, like these two candles, it just let's see, it was just running here, pull back into this near this low, but there's no guarantee it's going to pull back here and just do that, just to set a value. This was a move from 4 almost to 6, not quite there. If you're looking for that again, you actually got it over here. A move from 4 to 6. If you did 4x3, it would have been 2R. But what is it about over here? What is it about this place, this price in here? Unless there was some announcement thing that it was, this was going to bring in some volatility, but in a matter of 15 minutes, you could add 2R getting in bearish up here. And I don't have a line there. The only thing there is really the 21 on this chart. And it didn't continue to break down. So anything put into that looked like it was just going to break down a little bit or retrace. And so you got to be careful on that, how long you're going to hold on to one of these that's pulling back before you just say, okay, I made a little bit, I'm going to get out right now and just move on to something else, or don't trade anymore. So there's always options too. So anyway, that's where we're at. And like I said, I don't know where we're headed next. I don't know if we're going to show some sort of rally and then completely break down. I don't know if we're still forming kind of an expanding triangle here, or this one's, no, it was this one, a triangle, I guess, an actual triangle. Or if this is a bigger, making lower highs and some lower lows. This is just not shaping up into something I'm recognizing. So I'm going to just be careful again today, or be careful again tomorrow. Maybe not trade something. It needs to be really the best setup just because it hasn't been showing me what I want it to do. Kind of doing the opposite, which I don't necessarily want to set up the opposite, but maybe we'll be doing that. So, yeah, hope this helps. Be back soon with some more. This is just AMZN. Thanks.